So if you've been on this channel for a while, or even if you're not, you will know that my mantra is to live a really good, amazing lifestyle without having to spend too much money. It's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that it's just my everyday, and it's just sort of second nature to me. It's not even something I think about. Really, I wanted to explain about why I've sort of gone down this lifestyle, why I do what I do, why I live a frugal life. So growing up, I had two young brothers. One was about 2 years younger than me and the other one was about 10 years younger than me. So there's a little bit of a gap there. But we, as a family, to be honest, I never really thought we had much money. I remember, going to bed one night and waking up with the roof absolutely pouring through on my bed, and I must have been about 4 years old. And my dad fixed the roof for, I don't even know how long the roof stayed like that, but he fixed it with bin bags, essentially. And every so often, if it was a really bad storm or something, then I'd get another wet bed, which was always not the funnest of things. I remember going to school and it was just sort of constantly driven into the back of me, we haven't got money for this. Shoes were always second hand to the point of my toes crushed because they didn't fit properly. If there's a school trip, I would either hide the letter from my parents so that they didn't know about it, because I knew I was going to get, I know we all do it as parents and go, the school's asking for more money again. But it was so ingrained into me, so much that I didn't want to have that conversation, and I preferred to have the conversation with the teacher and explain that I didn't actually get any pocket money to be able to afford the trip. I wasn't aware of it at the time, but I do believe that I actually went on some of these trips for free. So now we've got systems in place for children called pupil premium. So if that's the situation for a family at the moment, I know from being on the other side within a school, the trips are provided for free. But I don't think that was really a thing when I was at school, and I just remember it was just constantly that sort of monkey on your back of, we haven't got any money, don't ask for any, and things like going out. Remember going out for days out, and we'd always take like either a drink with us or sandwiches, which was just fine, and I do it exactly the same now. But it's one particular day we'd gone out and it was so hot, and we had like one drink between four of us, and I was so thirsty. I remember asking, please, can I have a drink? And I think I was about 8 years old at the time, and there was no drink forthcoming. There was no like taps or like fountains or anything like that you might have nowadays. And I got home and I was so desperately thirsty. I'd remembered that I'd left a cup of juice on the side in the front room, and I ran into the front room and I was so like, honestly, this is awful, but I drank the drink, and it was only as I'd like swallowed 2 big gulps of it, I realised that the sugar within the juice had obviously attracted a lot of ants. And yeah, I basically just swallowed, I don't even want to know how many ants. So that was one of those stories. It's just all different things like that that sort of stay with you. And I just remember vowing, when I grow up, I want my children or child to not feel like they have to go without, but also know that there are other ways of doing it. And I would never say no to a school trip, for example. I would, if she wants to go on something, I will find a way, and I don't want to necessarily to know that I've had to do something extra. I've had to scrimp, or I've had to go without somewhere else. And then if you already know my backstory as well, when I was first married and my ex-husband had so much debt in my name, that sort of perpetuated and sort of built on that frugal lifestyle. Again, I had no money, but I didn't, again, want to put that on my child at the time. So, you work around it and you come up with different things. It's why I make sure that she has whatever she needs. And if it's something that she's really committed to, a hobby, something she's really interested in, I will find a way to get that. So it means that I sort of go without in other areas, but it's not something that I miss. And I've got a video on that coming up. Frugal, the frugal lifestyle that I essentially live, the things that I refuse to buy or refuse to pay for in my life to ensure that I've got this really good life, but also that it's quite frugal. Wanting to make sure that my family have a good lifestyle, and I think they do, and I think they haven't gone without. And it's a case of cutting back in different areas without other people necessarily realising, or without even feeling like you're missing out. I have such a good life. I look for deals, I look for those long-term purchases. So I've spoke before on this channel about things like the Merlin Pass, which I buy, which is an annual pass, gets us into all the Merlin attractions. So we're quite lucky where we're located. It means that I can access quite a lot of the Merlin attractions easily, quite often within half an hour and a half for some of them. And it just means it's something that's already prepaid for, it's already thought about, and I don't have to worry about, you know, the children asking, you know, what we're doing on board, etc. I don't have to think when we're going to find the money for, because I've already planned this whole year ahead. I do similar with the Wacky Warehouse Play Pass that Alexander uses. So again, that's £14 and he can go as many times as he likes. And I can take work with me, I can get things done, I can take a book with me if I wanted to, you know, you can even take in your own food, as I used to sneak it in, but I've recently inquired, because I saw other people eating their own picnic in there, let's get it done. So, you know, it's not an issue, it's another great way of saving, and it's normally like £4.50 for a toddler session, or £5.50 for a junior session. So just going 3 times, you know, we've made our money back thereabouts, so really great idea. And it's these things that mean that we're still enjoying a really good life, but we've planned it and made sure that we've got the most out of it. And it's not, you know, missing out on anything. He's still getting those activities. He's still going, enjoying himself. It's something that he'll constantly ask for, because if you've got children, you'll know they'll ask once, they'll go once, and then that's it. They want to go all the time. So I like things like that, or, you know, like things that you can subscribe to, that you just pay a one-off thing. And if it works for you and it's a value for you, that's a frugal lifestyle, but you're still enjoying it and you're still not missing out and you're still getting to experience those great things. I think the thing with being frugal is knowing that there are ways to save money and there are ways to spend money, and it's your values and what you consider to be important in life. So for example, I like really higher end clothing. I'm not talking like designer, but I'm talking like a really good quality. Over Primani, for example, I'd rather have some Next or M&S kind of clothings, but I don't want to pay the price tag, so I'll wait for the sales and I'll buy a big bunch of stuff, and if there's something that I will wear regularly, I'll buy that. Usually though, those are for the children. I very rarely buy myself new clothes, because I ensure I look after them. I use certain washing processes to ensure that they stay in as good a condition as possible. I have Holly who will sew up my dresses for me on a regular occasion when I get holes in them, or, you know, if it's done with, look, yeah, okay, I'll throw it away, or I'll donate it, or I'll turn it into something else, like cushions or rags or something else for cleaning. But what I won't do is buy too cheap. I always think if you buy cheap, you're going to buy twice. So it's important to know the difference between frugal and just being cheap, I think. And the same applies for food as well and things like that. So if I can get a higher end brand on a better deal, and it's kind of like doing that quick maths when you're in the supermarket, working out, actually, is it worth getting a more preferred brand over the most budget basic one? And actually, I very rarely get the most budget basic one. I try and go up another level. But it's that sort of compromise that you're willing to do, but without feeling like you're missing out at all. Look, this whole channel is about budgeting. And if you've been following me from the beginning, you'll know that in order to have my great lifestyle that I feel like I've got, I have to know where every single penny's going. I budget, I monitor, I track, I make sure I know literally where every penny has gone, in order to ensure that we can have the good things when we want to pay for the good things, so that we can have those higher end items or those bigger budget ticket items. It's that balance of knowing, where can I save money? Where can I draw back on? Where can I make sure I'm not wasting or overspending money? It's things like doing your food planning, food budget, knowing exactly where each item's going, because if you can do that, you know for a fact you're going to save yourself hundreds, if not thousands of pounds on a yearly basis. Get things ready, get things organised and plan. It's that age-old anecdote that just gets drawn out every single time. If you fail to prepare, then you've got to be prepared to fail. And I've had that experience in my life. I've had where I felt like I've had nothing, and I now need that control. Now I have the opportunity to get to control. I have control, and that is what helps us stay having that amazing life, but still living on a budget. It's frugal living, and I love it.